Nice seeing everybody again. This time in a little bit of different capacity. I mean, you guys already know that my love for sustainability and energy is something I spoke to most of you last year about. My day job is also working with children, doing this foundation. My wife and I started the Cooper Foundation in 2015. My daughter is 15. She's a sophomore at Berea Mid Park High School. She's autistic, and she also has, she is considered nonverbal, so she can't hold a conversation. She has to be prompted to do certain things and things like that. So in 2015, I decided to go ahead and start this foundation. And over the last 5.5 years, we've raised about $80,000 to help kids in Northeast Ohio. Basically, why I'm here with, talking to you guys tonight is I talked to Councilman Poindexter. I've also talked with the mayor and Mark Elliott about the proposal to put ADA compliant playground equipment in some of our parks. The thought is that I've already allocated funds out of our general fund so that I could put two like ADA swing sets. So basically it's a swing set that would, if a kid was in a wheelchair, they could pull in, lock the gate behind it, and then they could actually swing through. So I've allocated roughly about $5,000 right now that I'd like to, start this off with to put with council's approval, look for the right areas, the right parks in the city. In your guys' master plan and stuff like that, you see that in the presentation that you guys all have. I've picked a little spots in parks just, as open areas, just as a logical guess from a guy that doesn't, work for the city, but just wants to try to get something like this put through. As far as the funding and stuff like that, we would fundraise and do an online campaign, which I would hopefully start before the end of this month and run through the middle of May. The funds that we raised from that, in addition to the funds I've already allocated, would then be put forth to put these apparatuses in the playgrounds that you guys deem that they're good enough to do, and then also installation and things of that nature that we would have to kind of get down to brass tacks and talk about once we got to that point. As far as what the Cooper Foundation is looking for from the city is marketing, word of mouth, possibly if any of the employees of the city would want to get involved, payroll deduction, things like that for donations. All the donations are tax deductible because we are a 501c3 in the state of Ohio. So it's for us, we're very good at the 3 to 5 yard play. We don't raise $1 million a year, or I would be doing that full time. But we're very good at helping kids. We've helped kids get iPads so that they can actually speak in their classes and talk with the teachers and their caregivers and things like that. We're really good at trying to provide for camps or wheelchairs, accessible items, nothing that's $10,000 or $15,000 at a pop. We're really good at that $3,000 to $5,000, market range. So that's really it in a nutshell. I mean, like I said, the presentation is pretty self-explanatory as far as the equipment. Some of the equipment goes as high as $32,000 installed. Yes, sir.
Wait to the end.
Oh, no problem. No, like I said, like some of the equipment as high as $32,000 installed. I've taken the course of just going with a smaller amount because the swing sets themselves are a win for us. I mean, until probably, maybe a few months ago, some of you guys probably never even heard of the Cooper Foundation. So what we're trying to do is not make a big splash, but we want, if we get to swing sets in 2 parks in Brook Park, we've done, a lot for us. And, we would like to use this also as a pilot program that we can go to Middleburg, Berea, Strongsville, and so on. And because, I have a special needs daughter, but I also have a typical daughter. And when they were little, if you're taking them to the playground, the special needs parents like, well, I'm going to have to hold on to my special needs kid and let my typical kid play in the playground. Well, if we go this route and offer this for that family's not stuck at home thinking, well, let's just not, there's nothing there for my special needs kid to do. I mean, some kids that are higher functioning might be able to get on a merry-go-round or use the swing set or something like that. But if they're, and towards severe, it's not obviously as easy. And that's really all I had. I mean, that, like I said, the presentation itself is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm open to hear anything you guys got to talk about.
I'm going to open up the floor. I'll start with Mr. Salvatore first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Cooper, thank you for bringing this forward. I mean, it's really an excellent program that you're working with. A couple of quick questions that I have, though. With your experience, do you find it better to put one piece of equipment in several locations, or develop a whole section just specific for the special needs?
That's a good question. Years ago, probably 5 years ago, there was a lady out in Rocky River who was trying to raise like $2 million to have this elaborate, really, really nice playground for special needs kids, and with talking trees and, all these kind of interactive tools for these kids. But they raised about $100,000, and that's all they could get to. And now that project's on hold indefinitely. So I'm a big fan of the 3 to 5 yards. Like I said before, if we do one, then we can raise funds for the next year and do another one. And in 5 years, maybe it's 5 parks. But, the one thing I didn't mention before was when I did talk to, Rec Director Elliott, we talked about also the grants that a partnership between the city and the foundation would really help the decision makers actually help maybe fund this. And we could do 3 pieces, 4 pieces, depending on what kind of grants that we could attain. So that's from my experience, that's what I've seen.
I can continue, Mr. Chairman. Are any of your projects, are you partnering up with any of the cities where they're actually putting some money on the table to match the hard work that you're doing?
This is what I was sitting here on Franklin Drive just thinking about it one day, and this is a pilot program. So I'm hoping that Brook Park, jumps on board with me, and then we can use this example when I meet with the council from another city. So now I'm starting it here, Rick.
I've always liked to be a pioneer, and I think that's a great place to start right here in Brook Park. And I would definitely be in favor of having the city put up some money to get to this program off the ground and help in the fundraising efforts, as well as even donating myself. So I'll yield my time to my colleagues, but thank you very much for coming forward. I'm definitely on board with this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Rick. Mr. Poindexter.
Thank you, Council President. Craig, thanks for coming. I've seen the presentation before. You came to me with it, and I was happy to hear about it then, and I'm still as excited about it now. Council, as you know, Mr. Cooper is a longtime Brook Park resident. As he said, he has a special needs daughter, and this idea isn't anything that's new, but I think the concept that he's bringing is new, and the concept is fundraising through his foundation. Whereas I believe Jack Thomas brought forward ideas several years ago, and Council President yourself has brought forward ideas as well. But this is just a way to pay for it without kind of grading the city coffers, for lack of a better term. I fully support the idea of partnering with this foundation. So we're not beholden to any limit. Whatever he can raise, whatever we can afford, we can put in. All we have to do is basically give him a spot to put it, and help facilitate the construction of it, whether it be by using our own service department workers or contracting it out, which I guess would be determined by how much how much work is being done. But having said that, I'm glad this is on caucus now for discussion, and I'll leave it at that. So thanks.
Mancini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Craig, it's good to see you. I know you're, pretty active in the community. You always have been, and your parents. As you might know, and many others do, I have a niece that lives in Brook Park that's special needs. And it's a lot of work, as you well know. And it's good that you're looking out for them. Maybe it's something we should have did long ago. And I'm glad you're bringing this forward. One of the things I want to ask you, I know Councilman Poindexter had mentioned Mr. Thomas. Nora Bricker, I believe, did something like this with a group a while back. And I'm not exactly sure where the spot was where they did some of this, but I remember the equipment being very, very expensive. Do I stand corrected on that?
Well, I mean, it's a matter of what you raise. I mean, like right now, the two swings that I'm referring to retail for about $2,500 a piece. One swing is for a child that has limited mobility, but the parents might be able to pick them up and set them in and strap them in. And the other swing, is for a kid, or actually the other thing is too, or a senior that wants to go into there, could be wheeled in there as well. Well, the weight limits are well over 700 pounds a piece. So the costing is, if I can raise $20,000 in 5 months, it depends what we pick. So, I mean, expensive from like the normal everyday guy, sure. You're not going to have $2,500 just to throw out there to get something, but with the help of, with the foundation's help, and obviously I'm going to hit up every business in Brook Park as well, because it's a tax deductible donation, and they also have money allotted in their general fund every year to donate. So right. Somebody just has to ask, and that usually is me.
Right. Well, Craig, good job bringing this forward, and I hope to see some of these in time at most of our main playgrounds. So it's a great idea and very good, and we thank you for coming.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Let's see if anybody else will come back to you for a second round. Mr. Orcutt, go ahead.
Oh, you're on mute, Ed.
Ed, you're on mute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Council President. I appreciate that. Mr. Cooper, welcome. Thank you very much for your presentation. You did a very good job. I also want to thank you for your time the other week that we had where we could meet up and discuss a lot of the stuff. So I appreciate everything that you've done with this. This program looks to be pretty simple. I like your presentation tonight and also what you had put forward in your packet for us. Those two swings look like it's something that's affordable and that we can move right away with. And I'd certainly like to see us at least implement it, as soon as we can with the mayor and obviously yourself. And then just wanted to let you know with the fundraising, I think that I could speak for all of my colleagues here on council that we would all join in and give you a hand with all of that. So I think this is a win-win for everybody in Brook Park, and especially for the kids that need this. So just a statement of thank you very much for everything that you did and all your hard work.
Oh, thank you, Ed. I appreciate that.
Rich.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Craig. I watched you play round ball way back when, so I've seen you around for a long time. Hey, just one question. Maybe through Brian and you or something, is there a way to maybe contact Ball and Wallace and have something put on our website through Ball and Wallace, working with them on putting it out there, and that would increase the notoriety, that would increase the footprint. Just just a thought out there, try and get the word out there, and hey, put a little fundraising tag or something on there, just something
right, yeah.
out there.
No, it's absolutely possible. And being a BW grad, I'll say those kids will do a great job for you guys too. So, but yeah, what we do is we would just put some link to our website that would be directly to where we could have them check out our website and then donate from there. We have it already set up. We also have other vendors that we work through that are, one vendor is located in Boulder, Colorado, who is every pair of shoes that that you buy from him, 10% of the proceeds go to the foundation. So, I mean, we're familiar with that, and it would easily be something that once you put a link there that, you could tell somebody to go to, to the city website or to, the coopfoundation.com, and they should be able to go in and donate accordingly.
I was just thinking, maybe touch base with the mayor and, and his liaison over at PW and hey, get this thing going.
Absolutely.
I'll be more than happy to donate. Anything for the kids, man. Anything for kids. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
Troy,
Mr. Chairman?
well, hang on, Mayor. Let me get through council first, and I'll go to you.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Troy.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Hello, Craig. You can't see me. I'm not on there. Just my name.
I gotcha.
I've known about the Cooper Foundation for quite a long time because, as you probably know, you and your mother and I worked. She was the chair of the Beautification of Pride, and after she left, I was the chair, and we decorated that float many times together. Got everything going for our home days and everything else together. So I worked with your mother quite closely for a while there, and I appreciate all her hard work and let her know that I said hi.
Absolutely.
The only thing I want to specify and make clear, and I think I know this, but this is basically all-inclusive light. So what you're doing is each one of these things will be all-inclusive in itself because it's going to have the abled and the handicap all in the same machine or the same equipment, correct?
Basically, you go two ways about it. If you split it up and you had like, say, let's just take example for the swing set. If you have them in the same park and there's let's call it a typical kid versus a special needs kid, if they're split, I'd like to have them both because, going back to what I said earlier about having a typical child and a special needs child, you want to be able to take them and let them do their own thing. Now, if we can talk to the manufacturer and say, hey, can I put a wheelchair, accessible swing next to a quote unquote normal one, then, maybe that's something that we can do as well. Or maybe we could even retrofit some of the parks with that and save some of the cost of the actual structure and just buy the apparatus.
Right. Because I think the best way to be all inclusive, which was what Jack Thomas was looking to do and some other people, but is to have the kids playing side by side, the able and the non-able to be side by side, so they're actually playing again instead of one being over on this piece of equipment and another one being over at this different piece of equipment. I think that's more advantageous to everything. So, but I know it depends on where we want to put it. I mean, if we did it in an existing playground, it'd be redundant to have another, of the same thing. So that may not be a place for it. But if we were going to find a kind of an out of the way new place for this, then we'd want it both styles. So that'd be my preference would be to have the kids be able to play, on the same piece and have that capability. So, but I thank you for doing this, and anything I can do to help, I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Council, I'm glad to hear the support. I talked with Mr. Cooper. I think it's an excellent idea. I know all of you do as well. So we will put it on the website once we get the thing going and perhaps do a fundraiser in the city. But I just want to let you know the administration supports it 100%, and I'm certain the majority of members of council will too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Brian, before I let you go, I want to wait something and may even answer some. Craig, first of all, thank you. I also have some special needs family members that are older that could also benefit from usage of being included, and have worked with children that special needs with autistic spectrum diagnosis across the board, all the way down from nonverbal to verbal, but having motor difficulties. And this is just a phenomenal idea. Couple questions I have. One is, have you worked at all alongside or is there even ability to work with the Christopher Reeves Foundation for some grant money from there?
Okay, yeah,
I mean, that one, and I'll hit you with the next one.
Okay, yeah, we do, as you'll see in some of the quick facts, we actually do raise funds for other charities that go along with our mission. So the ability to hit other foundations with, with a letter asking for some additional help, I would not be opposed to that. It's something that's readily done in the charity community.
Great. That's one. And then, is there any thought? I mean, obviously the first is doing the swing set, which is the lowest of cost at least to start up, but putting in some sensory equipment, because obviously we know that the autism spectrum is wide ranging, and I think that some of the sensory stuff is readily available at a reasonable cost, and I don't know if you've done any research on it or have any insight to it.
I have actually. I just didn't want to make it 25 pages opposed to 12 pages. So,
all right, well, let's make it 12.5.
Right, but from your 3 to 5 year old, and preschool kind of ages, yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a plethora of stuff out there that they can use that is hand-eye coordination or just the texture. Autism kids are really big on texture, so. That stuff is available, and like I said before, if we're sitting here in 5 or 6 months with $30,000 or $40,000 to talk about, it might be a whole different story. I go back to this, if we can do it on the smallest level to start, just to say that we did it, and somebody can take advantage of that, whether it's on the downtown Brook Park, or if it's over here on the east end of Brook Park or wherever, it doesn't matter to me. I just want that parent that was like me, like when my kids were, 10 years ago when they were real little, and said, well, I would go to Legion today, but there's nothing for Cass to do. So, mom would stay home, and then I'd walk up to Legion with Casey, my oldest daughter, and then they would go and do she would go do her thing. And like to Tom's point too, I mean, I agree. They should be playing in harmony together. I mean, because that's the creme de la creme. That would be great, But at the same time too, I think mistakes in the past were, hey, I got this $100,000 idea instead of this $2,000 idea.
Again, I appreciate it, and just a couple of those questions, obviously, which you've noted that you've done the research, and I greatly appreciate it. And you have my full support, and you need my help, I will walk shoulder to shoulder with you to do this.
Thank you very much,
Brian.
Thank you, Mike. I was just going to point out a couple of the points that you guys hit. Like, in the presentation, there's a couple examples of different apparatus and different costs associated with those, and I'm sure that's not the full host of equipment available. Am I right in that assumption, Craig?
Yeah, there's way more than that. I was, like I said, I wasn't going for the top of the line. I was just trying to be economical. Coming to you guys with $100,000 ideas is not a really good idea. So
I scare easily too, so I'm glad you didn't.
Right.
But so I mean, it seems like we're all in agreement here. It's a good idea, and it feels like everyone's on board with allowing the Cooper Foundation to go ahead and start fundraising. So my question would be, I guess, I don't know, to the council president, to the mayor, maybe one of our senior members, is there legislation required for Mr. Cooper to go forward and start fundraising on behalf of this, or do we just give him verbal approval to go forward? How do we go about that?
It's something from
in my opinion. Well, go ahead, Carol. Go ahead. Mr. Chairman, if I may, I would think if council just pass a resolution supporting this, and Mr. Cooper could use that when he goes to the various businesses and that we're supporting this effort, I think that would be a good thing.
Chairman.
Rick, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree. That was what I was going to recommend that we do. Is we, like we do on other issues, pass the resolution, you know, in support of this particular project and actually putting our name to it. So that's giving it like a seal of approval, so to speak. So I'd be all for passing a resolution and having it introduced as council of the whole.
Brian, I was suggesting that to put pen to paper and let's get a resolution together.
Yeah, then I would make a motion then to ask the law director to please formulate a resolution in support of the Cooper Foundation and their efforts in bringing this forward.
I think the motion. Let me ask Ms. Schmuck already supported that, but let me go to her real quick. Lisa, did you have anything to add before we go to?
I did. Thank you. I had my hand up, but I'm usually quiet, so sorry.
Right. And it was probably hidden.
That's okay. Mr. Cooper, thank you very much for bringing this forward. I love the idea that you're bringing the families out, the special needs families back out into the community. That's so important. It's unfortunate that lots of times they're stuck in their homes. So thank you very much for thinking about not only the children, but their opportunities to come back out to the community. So thank you very much for that opportunity. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Poindexter, supported by Ms. Schmuck, to have the law director formulate a resolution supporting the Cooper Foundation. Any discussion on that? Hearing and seeing none. Michelle, please call the roll.
Poindexter,
Yes.
Schmuck,
Yes.
Orcutt,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
Dwyer.
Yes.
All right. So that motion is approved. Mr. Cooper, I want to thank you for coming forward with us today and presenting and apparently you have council's full unwavering support along with the administration.
Absolutely.
I absolutely appreciate it. You know, I know this is a good town and I know this is a good place to start. So thank you guys very much. And I look forward to giving you guys some good information and getting in there with Rec Director Elliott and start writing some grants.